Welcome. This is Barry Jones from the Angel School, and we're here for our weekly angel reading for September 9th through the 15th, 2019. So let's take a moment to take a deep breath and to focus in on the message that is coming through, has been channeled through your heart. Allow yourself to feel the feelings that are flowing through you and receive this as a cup of wisdom. That all information, all feelings, is information, and all information is rewarding, and all information is insightful. So you may want to resist the feelings, and they were writing as I was starting the word topic. And so there may be some topics that may be coming up for you, or there's a topic that comes up into your mind right at this moment. As you continue to just be present with the light of your inner being. And know that you are safe in this moment, and that the light of your inner being is always shining your truth. It's relentless and always consistent in offering that clarity. And what sort of happens is that the information that is around you, that you're processing and that you're dealing with in your environment, is sort of always coming up against that truth, coming up against that light. And there are different kinds of reactions that are experienced, and those experiences are sort of validated through the emotional context of your feelings. This is how you know which information is either in alignment or not with your truth. And so your feelings aren't there to cause you to feel persecuted or attacked for being, for thinking, for loving. They're there to show you what holds true to the core of your being and what does not. And if we would not take it personally and not seek blame for those feelings that are just providing context, information, then we would set our hearts free and set everyone else free around us to be free of our blame that we attribute to them and ourselves. And once we get beyond this, we're really open for healing. And healing is just so close to revelation, revealing what is revealed. At the moment that something is revealed to you, that your eyes are opened, that you have new clarity, that have gained access to more wisdom, you are beginning the new healing frequency, this pattern. This is where the metamorphosis occurs. And this is where you're set off on a new paradigm of light and great wisdom. I just saw a crescent moon. Not sure if it's the waning or the waxing one, but for those of you who follow moon cycles, this may mean something very important to you. I'm not going to be able to say that I can tune into that right now, what that may mean, but I should just put it out there so that you're aware of that. And so this is a time for you to nurture yourself and to also so they're showing me sort of a bikini bra or a bikini, something that you wear to the beach. And so the when I see female in terms of breast, chest, it means nurturing yourself, and the bra usually is about guarding that, or boundaries, setting boundaries, support, and getting support for yourself. But this is sort of more, looks like a something you wear at the beach, because it's a little bit more, let's say, exposed. And so there's something about that that's liberating, as well as when you're making sure you're nurturing yourself and you're supporting yourself, and that you're not concealing, but that you are freeing yourself. It's interesting because it really, the way the bra is lined, it's more open space so that more is revealed, but especially that the heart chakra is not sort of gated or in any way, or guarded, and it's wide open. And so what you this gives me a sense, since they kept showing me several visions of this, and then they're writing out the word rock, so, and visage and home. So there's something about not being, so when I think of the rock, I think of something hard and something difficult, just holding the rock. And I mean, you can use it to hold and find comfort, but it's got these sharp edges, and so it feels like something that is an obstacle or creates, is uncomfortable because of its hard edges, and that the opposite of this sort of openness and flexibility, flow, taking care of yourself but being open, so not quite sure with those three words, the rock, the visage is the word I saw, and home, but it seems like a perspective or something within your home, within your life, is something you want to, something there is you're being sort of hard-headed about, or stubborn, or inflexible about, and you need to open. You need to do you need to follow your heart. You need to do what's right for you, but you also need to keep an open mind, an open heart. So be really open to your heart. Don't get stuck in sort of these rules or these concrete plans that you can't go with or flow with your heart, that you can't, that you limit your vision, your ability to imagine, and the ability to create a sacred space for yourself. Okay, so let me just tune in. It's interesting. We just got the light just really came up outside, and it sort of changes the feeling, where you're sort of in this inner priestess, going within, or like the hermit going within to the cave, and now we have the light. It's all exposed, and it's, you've been flooded with opportunity, sight, clarity. So, okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and just sort of tune in again, and really they're writing out the word love, and they're showing me a tree trunk, very wide, and sort of like a white, almost like white oak tree. And you can feel like I can see it, the roots going into the ground. And they really want you to anchor in the love of your inner truth, of your inner being. Like to really, they're writing out the word holy, to consider your connection a sacred opportunity, to not allow anything else to really get in the way, to interrupt that, to really just, so they're not telling you to do the opposite of what they just said, being flexible, but to dig your heels in, to really ground yourself, but in your heart, instead of grounding yourself in an illusion, as an example, but to really ground yourself in your heart space. And they keep writing the word body, and I feel like we need to pay attention to our bodies, that we need to ground our bodies and do things that really help us to enjoy being in our physical body and enjoy being in this physical time. I mean, so we're in this month of September where we right now are in Virgo in this earth sign, and I've been working with decks that personally that deal with the earth and things, just to make me aware. And so, you may want to really ground yourself in activities that really make you aware of your heartbeat, make you aware of your body and its abilities, so exercise and diet, really cliche, but yeah, going outside, putting your feet on the ground, and just anything that makes you feel earthy and helps you to take pleasure in being in the physical world, being in a physical body. Because sometimes we do get into that headspace way too often, which is why we tend to worry a lot, and why a lot of things cause us to be afraid, because we're dealing with the illusions of the mind, and we're not in the this is the only thing that's come to my mind, but oh God, I can't say it, but I'm going to. It's like the doingness, which is not a word, of the physicality of our world. It's like, why do we spend so much time in that airspace of worry, thoughts, when the whole time that you're there, you're not being productive, you're not being responsible by worrying, because you're not doing anything while you're doing that. You can't do anything when you're worrying, when you're stressed, when you have anxiety, when you're depressed. You can't do anything. You're immobilized. So it doesn't serve you. And I think we get stuck up there, which means we're not grounded. We're trying to escape from the responsibilities of our physical obligations and duties and services, because we just don't want to deal. And when you find yourself like in that place, then that means you need to come back into your body, that you need to do something rather than worry about what to do. I mean, this is where you'll get something back. This is where you sow seeds, and you get to at least put your attention on observation on the development of that seed. And you then have to tend to that seed, and so ideas, creativity comes to you. So like when you get grounded in the physical doingness, it sparks your creativity. It gives you something to do, because like all things that are born in this world, they need care. And our own environment knows this, and that's why we have those seasons where it is best and where we can plant and grow, and then there's those seasons where nothing can grow. But in those seasons we get rain from the environment to nurture, and plenty of sunlight for things to grow. And at the end of that cycle of winter, when the spring comes in, the temperatures begin to rise, so that with that rising, the seeds, the seedlings, all the things, they start to blossom again. So we have to pay attention when we are, like, you want to think of the mind as like your winter. Nothing can grow there when you're just worrying. But when you ground yourself, and you, instead of worry, you take an opportunity to plant a seed, to do something, then now you have responsibility. Now you have a purpose. Now you have a product or a project to cultivate, to nurture, to develop. And this is where now the creativity will flow. So when you feel blocked, it's because you're up there worrying. You're in that airspace, and nothing can happen there, because you're not in your body. You're not in the physicality of what it takes to be aware of the creative, inspired actions that keep you moving along in the flow of your desire. So in this week, don't get lost in your head. Don't get stuck in your head. Find something to do. And make sure that whatever you do, that it is flowing, where the energy's flowing. I was just talking to somebody about this last night, and this is about all things. When you're trying to help people, when you're trying to do something, there is this open heart energy. So it's coming right back to the beginning, and being aware of this, nurturing this as an awareness is what I'm really getting now. And so hear this very clearly, that if you are in a conversation with someone and you have all this wisdom, knowledge and healing potential to offer, great wisdom and messages, and you find that people do not appreciate what you offer, and that they resent it, the thing is that each of us has a feeling as if when we're about to embark upon this endeavor, that we have this feeling like there's a block in our hearts, like there's this pain, like there's this huge wound that is just blocking communication. You cannot, your heart is open, but your heart is also, you're worried about the other person, and you want to get them out of that because you've been there. But you can't act in that moment unless you feel the flow of love. You feel it reciprocated before you take action. It must be mutual. You must feel this mutual exchange of love. That's when you are right in that moment. That's when you're ready. You're right in the moment where your service is required. You have an assignment. You have a purpose where energy is flowing. It's the same thing if it was a project or a decision you're making. And there's times that we feel that, but we're still afraid and we conjure up things that can go wrong. What I'm trying to tell you is you have to follow that initial investment or alignment or channel of love, mutual exchange. And if it's not there, then trust the universe that is making you aware that this person or this situation is not ready for you yet. And to work where the flow is available and ready, prepared, where you are prepared, or that person is prepared to embrace all that will come about on that, the joy and the challenges. So this is one way to, to really turn up your awareness to this new level of just not being aware of what the information is, but being aware of, is it the right time? Is this the right, is this person open? It may be somebody else around this person that this information is coming to you right now, and that person's heart is open to you and you to them. But it may seem that you need to focus here because this person seems to have all the conflicts going on and this person's saying nothing. But that person over there is the one who's ready. And when we work this way, spiritually, we create an ease where we can we set up a pattern of ease and trust in our gifts. But when we don't pay attention to this and then the person reacts that way, then it makes you afraid to open up your heart the next time when there really is this openness and this mutual exchange of energy. So just something to be aware of. All right, let's take a look at the card from the Archangel Oracle. And I love this card, Gifts from God. And this reminds me of something that I saw as I was preparing for this reading. I'm going to see if I can remember it. So I saw the angel number 26, and I saw the word God. I saw God written in his name, and I saw service and the word pleasure. Service for your pleasure, something like this. It was a sense that it's almost God was saying that the services that you offer are for your own pleasure. It's like I get the sense like you were, waiting for him or having to tell you what you should be doing. But your service work should give you pleasure. It should be for your own pleasure. And I was talking to someone last night again about a coworker who just was completely tickled to death about who she was in her role as a teacher. And she didn't need the validation of anyone else, especially her supervisor, the principal. She didn't need her to respect her, because she was just so tickled to death within herself about what she was able to produce. Like every moment she was being inspired and having more clarity. There wasn't a problem in her classroom that she couldn't solve. It would just come to her right in the moment. And what she was really is sort of, as Abraham says, is like she was in her vortex. She was appreciating her own vortex, and it just kept, it was just a cyclical, you know, evolution that just kept happening. It just kept growing, developing day in and day out. And so nothing, could really throw her off her game. Nothing could diminish her sense of purpose. She couldn't be from some parent or student or the principal, whatever was going on. Nothing could take that away from her. It just sort of rolled off of her naturally without her having to try, because she would just get so caught up in this appreciation, tickled to death, of how things just unfold within her, the solutions. And so you have to be able to find that for yourself, because if you're looking for people to behave a certain way, or to do the right things, or to, recognize or reward you, they're not going to, because when you're noticing that people are not giving you that, you are no longer appreciating who you are, and the alignment that you naturally cultivate. And so because you are this, the person who's like this, she had such an influence in the school, because she was always channeling this affluence of abilities and skills and talents and gifts. And so people gave her that respect because she was appreciating her own alignment in essence. And so often there are others, we're outside of that, and we are looking for people, people, we seem to notice that people don't appreciate it, they don't respect us, and we get really caught up in that, and we lose that which we have when we don't pay attention to that. And you're never going to get people to do that, because technically they're watching you not appreciate your alignment, and they are already not experiencing that alignment for themselves. So it's not that they don't appreciate or respect you, they're actually not appreciating that you are not in alignment with your truth. So it's sort of like, I don't know if this is going to come across, but this is what it means, that we shouldn't take things personally, because energy and what we are experiencing are two different things. What we're experiencing are sort of the symptoms, but why is because of some kind of vibrational alignment. And this is something we can't clearly understand right away, because it's something that we don't experience. We don't have that physical interaction with it. We have feelings, and we take our feelings personally, meaning we attach it to the symptoms of what's going on in our physical world, instead of attaching it to one simple truth, which is that anything that doesn't feel good is indicating that whatever you're doing, you need to take a new direction, or come into alignment with what is true for you, what is true to your heart. It's like whatever it is that you're doing, you're no longer being authentic in the way that your heart finds joy in expressing itself. And instead, you may say, oh, this negative feeling, oh, that person doesn't like me. And it has nothing to do with that. Your inner being is not saying it doesn't like you. Your inner being is just giving you a little heads up. You keep this up and you're going to really discover some things that you don't like. And we're just here to say, here's your truth. Because it's not criticizing what isn't. The universe, your inner being is just saying, here's your truth. And you feel that as some kind of conflict, but it's just your inner being just getting really stronger about what your truth is when you go into places or to things or situations or drama that isn't your truth. It just shines the light brighter. That's all it does. It doesn't judge or comment on those things. It just shines your light brighter so you get to hear it. You get to feel the contrast between your truth and the thing that you're doing, so that you can decide. You can decide. So you have to somehow learn to take pleasure in your own service. Don't look for the universe to tell you what to do, but take this opportunity that's been given to us, this gift that's been given to us, to know what makes us happy, to know what gives us pleasure, by having the contrast all around us to help us to determine that. The hot and the cold, how would you know what either one is if they both didn't exist? That's how you get to choose between the polarities. Use the polarities to give you the opportunity to choose. You see it, appreciate it for this. And then don't sit back and wait, but be aware. Because as you live and breathe, things give you pleasure and things don't. And certain things you feel an initiative about, and that you want to really, you feel like you got all this energy for this and everything. And then there's other things that come up, and it's like, and that's when the confusion starts, and you don't really want to do that thing, but you feel like obligated or something. And the thing is that if you are looking for that opportunity to take you in a new direction, go where your initiative is. So this is the other word that came up for me out of inspiration, knowing the voice of God, and knowing that you're being guided. Conviction, when your heart is certain about it. And now this initiative helped me this week in deciding a choice that I realized I didn't really want to make, and it was because I had a lot of initiative about this project that I want to pursue. And it's not something I had recognized before. I didn't recognize that word as a part of that flow. And this is what they want you to understand. So this gifts, you may be able to tell, be aware of the gifts that are coming to you from God this week by either inspiration, by either a conviction that you have, or this initiative that's growing inside of you to invest in something in particular. All right. So this is Archangel Sandalphon, and it says, "We angels bring you gifts from your Creator. Open your arms to receive." All right. Let's take a look at the cards for the beginning of the week. All right, and so this is the traditionally the Judgment card, and it's Archangel Jeremiel, and it's renewal. So it's interesting because this card, 20 breaks down to 2, which is, I was thinking about this yesterday, sort of like the High Priestess, and it has that sort of where you evaluation, reflection, introspection, taking things in, and sort of at a higher level where you are now able to evaluate things with a new perspective. And so this is the energy sort of coming through this week, where you have this higher level of skills and tools to evaluate, to assess, and to make clearer judgments about where you're heading. So you're ready, you're preparing for something, the next chapter in your life, as the next card is the World card, where you've reached that point where you've of completion, full completion in the Fool's journey, and you're ready to move on. So this is preparing you somehow for that. And so really take these insights that you receive, take these to heart, take them personally, because this is liberating you. This is helping you to find alignment, or to atone, to bring, to heal, to let go. There's that word healing again, and to move forward. So like really just as we normally would see here with, souls rising from graves, just being liberated from the collective consciousness of illusions. All right. Okay, so let's take a look at the second card. All right, and so we have the Page of Earth. And the pages can be about a message coming through. It could be about new beginnings or new opportunities. In this case, with the Earth, and so appropriate as we're talking about that, a new opportunity could be something changing in your physical life. It could be a change in a home, or it could be about a new opportunity that brings in new revenue, a new income, a new project coming, where you're now finding that this is something you really want to delve into, that you really want to invest yourself, and you really want to explore. So the page is too about exploring, and so this is an opportunity that you want to invest in. You want to explore and really see what pans out here. So you are at that initial stage where you have this initiative. I would say the pages would have that sort of initiative as well. And you really want to, it could be that something is a new insight or something as unlocked in your heart or in your mind that is allowing you to see an existing project in a completely new light. And it just gives you that lift, that breakthrough where you can just now really, you feel like this channel of energy and action, movement, creativity really just flowing into this space of what you have been doing, where maybe you're feeling a little locked or gridlocked for a moment. Okay, let's take a look at the Queen of Earth. So this card came up a couple times, and I just love this card because you just see this energy, the flow. It's like, for her, everything is flowing. Her creative skills, and she is grounding this energy. She's grounded. The queens are very grounded. So if you're looking at this as a stage of development, something is grounding. And this is a time now where you're just nurturing and going with the flow, and things are flowing out of that. And it's sort of like we were just talking about with, going with that flow and noticing where that flow is going. And so this really requires you, like the queen, to tap into that water aspect of that all the queens have, which is to tap into that, your intuition, that ability to go with the flow, to not be that obstacle in your own way, to just really be open-minded, to be going back to that image we were talking about in the beginning with sort of the bikini bra and that openness, really following your heart, going with that flow. This Queen of Earth reminds me of my grandmother, who was a Taurus, and her saying was always, take what you got and make what you want. I just love that saying, and sometimes you have to really listen to it. And especially, let's say you're so think about a situation that you're in right now, whether you're lacking, resources or money, or if you're in a very prosperous phase of your life, but still this applies. Take what you got and make what you want. So what do you have? And what can you make from that? And just by saying that phrase, it will break that cycle where you feel like you're stuck, and start to create some kind of activity of creativity around your current circumstances, to break you out of that being in your head and worrying and doing and not getting anywhere, because the ego has no place for you to go. That's why it draws you there, because it's afraid of you expanding the territories of your life, because it's afraid of every boundary beyond what is known to it, which is so tiny. That's why it's so afraid of our power, because it has no access to that power. And it's afraid of it. It knows that your truth, every time it radiates everywhere, it knows it's enormous. It knows it, but it's afraid of what that could mean for it and its world. Will it be able to survive? It doesn't know. It's making assumptions. It's just full of suspicions. And it sometimes immobilizes us and stops us from taking action, because it convinces us to have this similar fears. But its fears coming from a different place, because it's completely in the dark and you are not. You are in between the dark and the light. And so you have access to both, but it doesn't know beyond what it knows. So, really open yourself up to this idea of take look at whatever it is and say to yourself, take what you got, make what you want. And what do you have that's flowing, even if it's just a little bit. Don't worry about it's not a lot, but if it's a little bit of a feeling of movement, or there's an openness, that connection we were talking about earlier, then see what that is and make what you can from that for now. And that will grow once you start to pour your spiritual essence into it. It's like your spiritual essence is like the water nurturing a seed, if you will. And so, this is the kind of practicality of the Queen. She's all about that intuition, but she's also all about digging your hands in there and creating. That's what we've been talking about, without even knowing that she was going to be here. That sense of just don't get stuck in your head. Dig your hands into the earth of your circumstances, and do in order to feel better and also to create better for yourself. And wow, look at this, another earth card from the court. So we almost have all of the court cards here. And so the knight, and this knight is about being, serving a purpose. Knights, in terms of stage of development, about development. All right. So the bottom line in this reading is that you have an opportunity, if you commit yourself to, first of all, take initiative and to develop your plans, your ideas. Really be patient. Don't be in a rush, but be deliberate. Like this knight, be very deliberate and dedicated to, what you're doing, and don't allow other people to distract you. Focus on the positive. And now that's where I think this angel number will come in really wonderfully, because it says the number 26, which I saw earlier, and which God was talking about, the service, serving a purpose, a purpose that gives you pleasure. And it says positive affirmations help your situation improve quickly. The angels urge you to only think and speak about your desires and not to affirm your fears, as they are just an illusion. And with the court of the earth, they're telling you, instead of just thinking, and that your positive affirmations will come through your doing. Okay? All right, so I send you lots of love and angel blessings, and thank you for joining us this week. And if you're looking for an angel reading, you can contact me at theangelschool.com, which you can find in the description link below this video. And they're writing, have faith, everyone, have faith. Some huge changes are coming up. And if you haven't followed me on the webpage, my daily card messages, you can find that in the description link below as well, for my Facebook page. as well as a Twitter, which you can, I think, access the videos here and my daily card messages on my Twitter page. All right, so everyone, God bless you and have a beautiful week and lots of blessings to you.